get started. We are moving forward. Good morning, Vanessa. We are moving forward with our focus here in January on our database. So if you missed last week's training, we talked about the importance of the database, how you should set your database up regardless of which one you're using. We did deep dive then last Thursday onto digging into what OneSuite has to offer. On this Monday, we talked about how to interact with those in your database, the types of touch campaigns that you should put into effect for those that you have relationship with versus those that you don't have relationship with, a good way to introduce yourself to those that are in your database. Because a lot of times, let's face it, although I might have like 1,300 contacts in my phone, I've probably only talked to 5 of them over the past year. Okay, there's probably a few more than that. Let's say 20 over the past year, but those other 1,280 people I haven't talked with in a while. And so we talked about how to do an introductory campaign or interaction campaign to introduce yourself as an agent to those in your database. And then we talked about whether we roll them into what we call a 30 plus to connect or a 19 plus to connect, and how we interact with those that we don't have relationship with versus we do have relationship with. We also talked about how to interact with those that we're constantly adding to our database. So people that we meet at open houses, Sign calls that, how to interact with that. So if you haven't seen that, rewatch Monday's training. You'll get a lot of good information from it. Today, we're diving back into OneSuite. So in case you haven't figured out the system here, Mondays is kind of more informational action plan versus Thursday is kind of hands-on. What can we do to enact that? We're focusing on OneSuite because that is our free CRM, our free contact relationship manager, our free database that we have access to through Realty One Group. So that's why we're focusing in on that. You'll hear me say over and over again, I don't care what database you use, pick one that you're going to dive into and that you're willing to use. OneSuite is nice. It's better than a spreadsheet, I promise you. Although if you found a great system that uses a spreadsheet, that's fine as long as it works for you and you'll use it. But OneSuite's a great free option. So as you're building your business, you don't have money to reinvest into a more expensive option for your database. OneSuite is a great option to get you started moving that direction. Long-term wise, I would recommend probably down the road setting aside enough money that you can reinvest into a different database system. There's a couple reasons for that. The main reason being that OneSuite, as you'll see today, is not the most user-friendly, and it doesn't have the most number of features. It's hard to kind of automate your business on OneSuite, but today we're going to focus in on how to set up some touch campaigns, some ideas, some workarounds to the limitations there inside of OneSuite. So let's get started. If you don't know how to get into OneSuite, as always, you should have the little one extension on your decided to show up. I don't know why. Anyways, you should have the little one extension installed on your Google browser. If not, Carly can help you do that in the office. Okay, I also have if you need help with that because you don't have it, you can throw that in the chat box or reach out to me directly. I do have instructions on how to download that. It's pretty easy, and how to add it as an extension. So I do have that set aside that I can share with you. But you click on that, you log in. If OneSuite isn't in your frequency, you can just go to the search bar or go to the everything tab for apps, and then those will be alphabetical. But you want to get into OneSuite. And for whatever reason right now, OneSuite is causing me to have to log in multiple times. It didn't used to do this, so I don't know why it's doing it now. But we just click on it again. It doesn't actually make me plug in my information. I just have to click the sign in button. So here's OneSuite. Again, we covered this in detail last week, all the options and stuff that you have available. Today, what we're focusing in on is our drip campaign center. So that's about halfway down the toolbar on the left-hand side of the screen. There are drip campaign letters, drip campaigns, and campaign tags. Okay, so there's a few things that you need to be aware of. That's kind of a multi-step process to get campaigns added into the system. And a campaign would be like, I want to send out a monthly newsletter. that would be a campaign. And you can set it up where you could spend time today putting together your newsletter for the next 12 months, or at least setting it up that way. And then you could go back and edit it later. So the place that you want to start when creating a drip campaign, if you're going to create one from scratch, would be to go to drip campaign letters. Okay. I'm going to skip that for just a second because I'm going to show you under drip campaigns, there are some pre-designed campaigns. So if you click on drip campaigns here, it's going to have all the campaigns here. Here is who the creator is on this, and there's like 30 pages of campaigns. No, there's 30 campaigns that have been created. Sorry, there's 30 campaigns here. So like admin ROG is happy birthday version 1, happy birthday version 2, home anniversary version 1, right? There's holidays, buyer campaign. So if you want to see, you're like, oh, that sounds interesting. Like there's this open house lead campaign. You're like, oh, that sounds interesting. If you click on it, it will walk you through what the steps are. And these are done by days. So this would be an example. There's 3 different ways that you can set up drip campaigns. One is you can set it on based on a schedule. One is on an event. And one is on a specific day. So this one's set up by schedule, saying that, hey, when I add this campaign to a lead or to a contact, on day 1, it's going to send this message. On day 3, it's going to send this message. On day 7, it's going to send this one. On day 10, right? So every few days, it's sending out an email. Now, if you want to see what those emails look like, you can just come over here to the little eyeball and hit the preview button, and that'll pop it up. So email number 1 says, thank you so much for stopping by my open house. It was great meeting you and hearing about your house hunting adventures. I would like to have had more time to talk with you about your needs, about what you've seen on the market so far. Knowing this information gives me a better understanding of what you're looking for and to help you find the perfect home. Would you be interested in meeting to talk further about your dream home? We can review all the inventory that is currently available and also discuss strategy. As someone who's in the trenches, I can bring you up to speed about what is and isn't working for buyers, and we can lay out a plan to find the perfect home at a fair price in this market. Please call me or simply reply to this email to set a time and place to meet. I look forward to helping you and making your house hunting adventures a fabulous success. Sincerely. And then notice here it says in like the bars, it brackets, it says agent email signature. It will automatically input your signature onto that email. Just like at the beginning, it says contact first name. It's going to automatically start this message with Amanda, right? So whoever your client is, it's going to automatically input that in there. So you can just add that in. So that would be email number 1 that goes out the first day. That's a nice email, right? So, and you can go through and look at those, but it's sign up for market updates. Are you still looking? Avoiding financing pitfalls. Who does the realtor work for anyways? Let's assess availability. Guide your new home purchase, avoiding typical mistakes, how to find the best and get the best interest rates, and making the most of change. So it's got over 60 days, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 emails that go out over 60 days. Okay, it starts every 3 days, and then it starts to space those out a little bit further. Okay, so super simple one here. It's nice, fabulous. Now, the other information that you want to note here is that if I go to the open house campaign right here and we scroll over, the campaign tag is open house lead. Okay, so make a mental note of that, open house lead. In fact, you may want to write it down if you were going to add this. So if we wanted to add this campaign to a client, we need the campaign tag. Okay, so what does that look like? If I come up here to search the client, so remember, I always put myself into the system so that I can mess around with my own contact information when I add things, so that's what I'm playing around with instead of one of my actual contacts. So here I've just searched for myself. I've opened up mine. If I'm like, oh, I want to add this to that person, I would just scroll down here to where it says campaign tags. I'm going to hit manage. I'm going to find the open house campaign here. These are open house lead. I'm going to select that just by checking the box, and I'm going to hit apply. Okay, now what's going to happen is here now, see it says open house lead for the campaign tag. Now, the drip campaigns that it's assigned to is up here in this top section. Don't fret if it takes a whole day for it to appear. Okay, so even though I've added the tag here, that campaign may not show up here yet. It may show up, but nope, oh good. It didn't show up here yet. It's not going to show up until tomorrow. So it'll start the execution of this one tomorrow morning at 5:30, which was when all the emails go out our time. So just kind of keep that in mind. So I don't stress. I stressed a little bit yesterday as I was trying to set this training up and make sure that I was doing everything correctly because things weren't magically appearing like they were supposed to. But this one, it takes overnight. So it has to cross through 5:30 the next day for it to magically appear on the campaign list. So you're going to add the tag. That's how we add campaigns to our clients, is with the campaign tag, and then it'll have that drip campaign. Okay, now I set myself up on several. So notice here it's got recent marketing reports. It's going to show that information there because I set up some of those marketing reports. Okay, and then here are the tasks that I assigned. So we'll come back to that. But that's how you assign. So if you're just perusing the pre-existing campaigns, like the new owner campaign, and you click on that and you're like, congratulations on your new home. I value your recommendations. Congratulations. Follow up with new owner. This one, this one's going to go to the agents, right? Magic here. So this email here, follow up with new owner, it's going to go as an email to you, which I kind of like and I kind of don't like. It's not going to show up as a task, but you will get an email that is going to prompt you into action. Okay, so lockout trouble, recording your belongings on video. So it's got a 6-month mark, happy anniversary, home improvement. Congratulations, it's been 3 years since moving into your home. Follow up with a new owner. Should you build more space or buy a bigger home? Happy 5-year anniversary. So it's got a couple of emails that go out per year after that first year, and then several within that first. So it's day 1, day 4, day 30, 31, 42, 61, 180. That's that 6-month mark, 365, then 390, and then the 3-year mark. Yes. I feel like it's missing, like it doesn't have a 2-year mark. It's got 3 years. It seems like it should have a 2-year, and it's got a follow-up one there. And then it's got the 4-year mark, which isn't congratulations. It should you build more space. This one seems like it might need tweaked just a little bit, but it's better than nothing, right? So if we wanted to add this campaign to one of our people, we would find that new home or new owner campaign, and the tag for that one is new owner. So you'd go to the contact and you would add it to new owner. Okay, does everybody see how that works? If you have any questions, I do have the chat box open. You can feel free to unmute yourself at any time. You can raise your little zoomy hand, whatever works. Okay, so if we find a campaign that we like here that's already existing, we just go find that contact. Or if we want to assign it to multiple contacts, like maybe we've got contacts and grouped by open house and we want to add that open house plan to it, we could go to contacts and leads. We can go to manage groups. Oh, sorry, not manage groups. That's a lie. Hold on. All right, we want to go to all groups. We would find open house. Click on that one, which would sort out just those clients that we have tagged as open house, which there are none, but that's all right. Hold on just for kicks. I'm going to see if I can find the one that there we go. You could click the button at the top for select all the people on that list. Then you could come over here to assign to campaign tag. So this would be a group edit. So I could assign these all to that new home let's see, new owner, we would just click that one and click apply. And then whoever's checked there, it's going to apply that tag and that campaign to everybody that's checked. Okay, so if we wanted to apply the open house one or a happy birthday one, we could select everybody in our database and apply it to everybody in one fell swoop. Okay, magic. So that's for the pre-existing, well, that works for any campaigns, but I'm just showing you right now the pre-existing campaigns. Okay, so let's go back to campaigns. So I'm just going to come down here to Drip Campaign Center and Drip Campaigns. Okay. If you wanted to edit one of these campaigns, you don't get to edit them unless you've created them. But if you're like, man, I really like that open house lead campaign, but I'd really like to tweak some of the steps, right here in Drip Campaign Letters, that's where you're going to find all of those. So if we go find and we go name open house and hit search, here's all those emails here that were created. So you could go in there and you could say, hey, I want to copy all of these. Oh, I have to select one record at a time. So I could say, hey, I want to copy this so that I can edit it. Copy. Here is open house email number 1. And then you might call this one like Amy so that we know that we've edited it. And then you can go in there and change that about. Okay. And then notice down here, this is that send to contact or agent, right? So this email goes to the contact versus if I selected agent, then that email would go to the agent. So it'd make you aware of something that you needed to do. Okay, how does that come into play? No, I don't want to save changes, but you could go in there and tweak those. That's how to tweak the pre-existing ones. Okay. All right, so now if I go back to Drip Campaigns, there is this new listing campaign for agents. Okay, so if we click on that one, here, notice all of these messages are going to go to the agent. So we would take our clients, okay, when they've got a new listing that goes on the market or is getting ready to go on the market, we can assign this campaign, this new listing plan for associates, to that client. And then what's going to happen is on the next day, it's going to send us an email message saying, hey, you need to put a sign in the yard and list on the MLS. Okay. On day 3, it's going to say, hey, send a progress report to your clients. Okay. So that's how this works. You're going to get an email in your inbox that says, hey, here's what you need to do. Okay. So you may want to create a separate email just for OneSuite, or it's for your Rog Fox stuff so that it goes to a separate email than what's going to everything else. That's just me. I have like 20 emails so I can keep stuff straight. But that might be my attempt at this. Otherwise, it's going to go into my regular email, which is inundated with all sorts of stuff. And I kind of like things clean and easy and know what I'm paying attention to. So I might do it that way. Or in my email, I might create a filter that, hey, anything that comes from this email address goes into a separate folder, like a task list or a to-do list. And that way I know what I need to do. So just know that that's the difference between it going to the client versus going to the agent. So we would still assign this campaign to the client, but we would get the emails for the steps that need to be done. So let's say that we wanted to create a new campaign to go out. The way that we would do that is first, we want to create the Drip Campaign letters. But let's say we're just going to utilize some of the stuff that's already in here. We're not going to create new letters quite yet. I'm just going to go into Drip Campaigns. I'm going to hit new. Okay, here's the type. It's either by schedule, by date, or event. So schedule, again, is if I assign this today, then in X number of days, it's going to start. By date would be, hey, I want this to happen on a specific date. Or event would be like a birthday or a home anniversary. So maybe I want to create a birthday campaign. I would say by event. I'm going to call this Amy's birthday campaign. description, I'm just gonna leave that blank. Here's where you're gonna assign it that campaign tag. So if we're creating a new campaign, we probably want a new campaign tag. So instead of browsing and assigning it to the same one, we're gonna say, hey, new campaign tag, Amy B Day. Okay, I'm gonna hit save and close. So now I just created that new tag. So again, this is how I'm gonna add it to a client's list of campaigns. And then down here is where I'm gonna select those letters, okay, or what's gonna go out. So I'm gonna go select letter. Here's, we can, if we know what the letter is called, we could do that. All right, we're gonna hit browse. And then here we can search. There you go. So I just selected just one of the ones that was already created. Now in these, again, if you want to see what it has, even in the search, we could hit the little thing. So this one just says, hey, send progress report to seller, schedule MLS tour, set a lockbox, right? So so I could have created, all right, hold on. Well, I'm just gonna select this. Okay, we're just gonna select that one instead of backing up. And then I'm gonna hit okay. Okay, importance normal, maybe we want it high importance, who knows? And then send on event. This is going to be, so this one would only go on their birthday. Okay, so that's not what I want. So I want to go cancel. Sorry. What I really want to do is I want to do this by date. Okay. And here's why. I'll show you here in a minute. It should, well, let's set this up. All right, so we're going to do this, the letter. Set up. So we type in our criteria, then we select it. I'm going to hit OK. And then the importance is normal. Again, you can upgrade that to low or high. And then when do we want it to send? So if I'm like, let's see here. Nope, I'm still not even going to do it this way either. Okay, that would be based on a specific date. No, I don't want to continue. All right, we're going to go by schedule. You're like, Amy, you're losing me. I'm sorry. By schedule, because here's what we're going to do. So here's all that, right? So limitations are that the event is only home anniversary or date, so you can only send it on one specific day, but it'll send it every year on their birthday. For my birthday campaign, that's not what I want. Okay. The schedule picks a specific date, but I can't make it reoccurring or by event. Sorry, event is either birthday or home anniversary. Date is going to be a specific date, but if I go by schedule, then I can make it reoccurring every year. Okay, so here now I'm going to select the letter. Now that I have schedule, I'm going to select the letter. I'm going to go back in here, type in what I want. Hit search. I'm going to select the letter that I want, hit OK. All right, here I want this one to send on day 1. Okay, and the importance is going to be normal. I'm going to hit save and close. This one's going to send to agent. Okay, if I want to edit this step, I can just hit the little pencil mark there and I can edit that step. Okay. The next one, this letter was created. So when we create the send to, it has to be in the, when we create the letter, which I'll show you here in a little bit. Okay, so that's going to be step 1. To add another step, what I'm going to do is I keep raising my hand up, which keeps raising my hand on Zoom. But anyways, the next one, I'm going to hit select letter. So maybe my first step for the birthday campaign was send a card. Okay, maybe my second step, so imagine that first letter is sending me an email telling me to send out a card. Okay, so then my second step is maybe I want to wish them happy birthday. Okay, so we're going to go browse here for the letter. I'm going to go search. I can sort them by who to send it to. So I can say, hey, I want all the ones that are sent to an agent. Okay, so there's all the ones that are going to an agent. So maybe I created one. We're gonna just call it test. All right. And then we're gonna hit okay. Oops, I hit the summary. Hold on. We want to click the little radial and then hit okay. Send on day. This is gonna go. So if I want to send out that card like a week ahead of time, whereas maybe this next one where I want to wish them happy birthday via social media, maybe I'm going to do it 2 days before their birthday. So maybe on 5 days, and it's going to be a letter that says wish client happy early birthday on social media. I'm going to hit save and close. Okay. Then maybe the next one is I want them to get a happy birthday email. So I'd go select letter. And maybe here we're going to go browse. We're going to go search. I want something that's happy birthday. Search. We're going to say, hey, we want happy birthday version 1. We're going to hit okay. If I wanted to see what that was again, I can just hit the little preview button. I'm going to hit okay. This is going to be sent on day 6. Save and close. Okay, so notice here I've got an agent step on day 1. On day 5, it's got an agent step. On day 6, it's got a contact. And then we might have select letter again. Maybe we created a letter that was for me to send them a text message. We're going to go search. All right, we're just going to select another one. We're just going to call it test again. And then we're going to hit okay. This is going to be sent on day 7. I want to send them a text message. Save and close. So these would, in the letter, the subject would be like, send client text message. Okay, and then it would send to me. So this is just one way to do it, right? So now I've got them. I've got it sending out a card. I've got it telling me to wish them happy birthday on their social media. I've got an actual email going to the client saying happy birthday. And I may even want this one to say like happy early birthday, right? Or I wanted to be the first one to wish you happy birthday the day before their birthday, right? And then day 7, I might have a text message or a phone call notification to call them, okay? Then what we do is we can hit save and close. Record created. Okay, so now I've got that one on here. Amy's happy birthday campaign. If I want to see what it is, it's right here. I can see that. Okay. I can also go into the edit here if I want to make changes to it. So notice any of the ones that I've created, I can, I did add them a tag. All right, so there we go. Okay, so magic, I can set it up that way. Okay, any questions about that? Now keep in mind that this one's based on sending on a day. I thought I could make it reoccurring so it did it every year, so I could assign it like this year, 7 days before their birthday, but it's not giving me that option now. So I'm not sure why I'm not getting that option. So I'm gonna have to mess with it a little bit, but that would be one way to set it up. That's the basic idea. So I could change it and say, hey, instead of by schedule, we want it on a specific date, or we want it on an event. Okay. So that's the basics behind setting up that campaign. And then what I would do is I would just go and find that person. So maybe on today's birthday, I could just come over here and be like, hey, whose birthday is on today? And then I could call them and wish them a happy birthday this year, or whose birthday is in a week, because it shows me everybody who's upcoming, right? So I could say, hey, view all events. And then I could say, hey, today is the 23rd. So whose birthday is like in a week? And I could come in here and I could go, hey, we want to edit this customer or this client. I'm going to come down here to their campaign tags. I'm going to hit manage. And then I would add that Amy's birthday and hit apply. Okay, and then tomorrow it's going to apply that campaign. So I'll get those notifications of what steps I need to do in order to complete that. So some of those will go to me and some will go to him. Once it runs, it'll just expire and be done. Okay, so this one takes a little bit more because you'd have to watch the upcoming birthdays and assign it so that you don't miss any tasks. If I want to remove a campaign, I just come down here and I say, hey, I don't want that one anymore. I just uncheck the box and I hit apply. And now that campaign's gone. So that's the easiest way to remove a campaign. Okay, and then notice here I've got home anniversary and the birthday campaign going out already for the ones that are assigned. Okay, any questions so far? Okay. Drip campaign letters, if we wanted to create our own, so maybe we wanted to create that. So I'm going to click on drip campaign letters here. I'm going to uncheck that one. Let's see here. These are the company letters. I still got it. It's still finding. Hold on. We're going to reset that search. All right. So there's all the company letters that have been created by anybody inside of Realty One Group Fox. Then we've got the agent letters. So those will be the ones that you created. They do have a whole set of Spanish letters as well. If you deal in Spanish, they've got a whole set of those. And then you can look at which ones are scheduled and you can search. So if you want to create a letter, we're just going to come over here. So company letters, you can copy them, which creates your own version of it that then you can edit. Agent letters gives you the option to actually create new. Okay. Now, here's what the name would be. So this would be like send birthday card. Okay, and then subject would be birthday card activity, and then the template. Now, you have a couple of options here. Let's come back to template here in a second, but down here at the bottom, that's where we select, does it go to the agent or the contact? So this one, I want it to go to the agent because it's going to be sending a birthday card. Our classic editor is just going to open up like a basic email. So here's where you can put in some of that information. So we can go insert data field down here at the bottom. And here's where we might put like first name and hit insert. And maybe we want to put a space there and put in their last name and hit insert. And then maybe on the next line, maybe we want to insert their address. Let's see, street address. Yeah. I was just looking to see if it had street versus mailing. Business home. All right. So we're going to go street, insert data, because I want the information so I don't have to go dig through my database to get their address to send out that card. So I'm going to be like, hey, I want their street. Oops, I did that. The city. I don't think I can select multiple at the same time. No. All right. Insert. Oh, I did that twice. All right, hold on. City, state. Oh, I messed it up. Let's see here. I don't know how to delete this. Interesting. How about the undo button? There we go. All right, so if you add the wrong thing, you can just, it won't go back farther. We're gonna hit insert data field. Business, we want home, city, state. No, that's business, state. And zip code. Insert. And then up here, we might put send blank a happy birthday card. And then we're going to hit OK. Now in this one as well, I could always insert an image. So you can hit insert image down at the bottom. You can browse for that image. Or we can upload. Okay, so here we're gonna upload and then we just click upload. So you're gonna browse and then upload that image. Okay, so you can insert images. You have all these options up here. You can put in like a URL, you can input a video, YouTube video, pictures, move the text around. So you've got all like normal options that you would have editing this in anything. You can do it in here as well. Okay. Once you've completed it, then you're going to hit OK. You can also preview what that was going to look like, but we're going to hit OK. So there's our, so we have our name for it, send birthday card, subject, birthday card activity. It's going to say, hey, send happy birthday card to whoever this is. And then who's it going to send to? The agent. So once we're done, we're going to hit save and close. Now it's going to add that send birthday card letter to our list. So now if I wanted to go back, so once you've created that, the other option is here, we can go new. If you were creating like a newsletter or something and you wanted like a little bit more structure to your email, that would be in the modern editor. So we just hit the classic editor, which operates like a Word doc, basically. If we go to modern editor, you can add blocks. So it works like if you were building like a Wix website or whatever, we would just say, hey, we want the section title, add that. Then we want a divider. And then we want some pictures with some text. Maybe just a single picture with a text. So notice here, though, it says our picture size. So if you don't have pictures selected already, then what we may want to do is go into like Canva. Show you, see. Canva allows us to create custom sizes. So give us just a second. We'll log into Canva and I'll show you how to do that because there's a lot of free options inside of Canva. You don't have to pay for it. So this size here was a 450 by 300. So if we wanted to create or edit an image, I'm just going to wait for it to load up. All right, and then you're just going to hit create design. And then you can come down here on the toolbar on the left-hand side and just say custom size. And if you're like, I don't remember what size that was, 450 by 300. It's still loading. All right, then we go 450, height 300 pixels, and then when you would hit create new design. Okay, now once it creates that design, you can edit that design to be whatever you wanted that picture to be, or to have it be the right size. So if you wanted to like add home pictures or whatever, sometimes they're not the right size. That's the easiest way to do it. And then I could say, hey, I want to add an image here. All right, we're going to go elements.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Why this size?
This only because the picture that I selected, this block heading, is 450 by 300. So on this letter, it's got different pictures being different size. And if you choose a picture that's not sized appropriately, this system has a hard time uploading it to the image, to replacing that image. It needs to be the right size. Whereas
I
if
see.
you're
And then
doing, yeah, go ahead.
I think I know what you're saying with like Canva. You're kind of tweaking it in Canva for it to upload correctly into OneSuite, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay,
So
thank you.
see, now if I said, hey, cats, I'm going to add a picture of cats. I don't know, I'm talking about cats in my letter. Let's see here. Oh, those are videos. I don't want videos. I want photos. There we go. Look at that cute picture of a cat with sunglasses. There we go. And then I can resize this. You can also add text or whatever to the picture. So whatever you wanted to do, you can do in Canva, or you could do it in OneSuite or OneDesign as well, although the sizing You don't have as much flexibility on the sizing on one design as you do with Canva. So that's the only reason I'd go there. So then once you have your picture done, you go share. You would go download. I would download it as a PNG file, leave the sizing where it's at, so it downloads it in that size, and hit download. Now it's going to download that. Then over here, we would just click on this. And then we would say, hey, we want to select a image. So we're going to hit image browser. We're going to say, hey, we want to upload an image. There we go. And then we're going to add that. Ta-da! And now it's the right size. So it fits there just perfectly. So that's, so this one has a little bit more structure, and you can add more blocks, right? So, and we can edit the text, you can edit the font. And then you could move the blocks around. So if I took this text here and hit the up arrow, it moved that whole block section above the line. So remember, I created a line there. So just moving that line around. We would just click on it to click the heading. If we wanted to add more blocks, we just come back over here on the left-hand side and hit blocks. And then we could add another block system in there. So you can add multiple blocks, or you could add just text, or you could add just pictures. So you've got lots of information in there. You've got the email signature. You can add your social media icons in color and black and white, right? So it's got all sorts of options, but it gives it a little bit more format to that email where it looks a little bit more professional. The other option that you can do too, just so you know, is you can always create the whole thing inside of Canva, and then you can upload it into here as just an image. So you've got some different options there as well. So just know you've got some options there. Once you're done, you're going to hit save. So then that would be the Modern Editor image. And if you wanted to preview what that looked like inside of Modern Editor, you can see what that looks like. Okay, and you would do the same thing here. You would name it, give it a subject. You're welcome to write a description. And then who's this going to go to? Your contact or yourself. Okay. And then once you're done, you hit save and close. Okay, so any questions there about that editor versus the Modern Editor?
I don't have questions on that, but that is for like, what is the actual campaign called that you made just there?
So if you're going to create a campaign, step one, and you're not going to use letters that are existing or emails or steps that are existing inside of the drip campaign letters, we want to start with creating the letter. So like I created the send birthday card activity. So now I could go back to my drip campaign and either create a new one, or I could come in here and edit this existing one. And I could add that step in here. So I could delete a step and then add, because I just used fake steps in here, like this new listing action plan. So if this was going to be the card, I could delete this step, and then I could say, hey, select letter. Now we're going to browse. We're going to send this birthday card activity and hit OK. And then I'm going to send this on day one and save and close. So now on day one, it's going to send me an email saying to send the birthday card. So that one that I just created. Otherwise, I could have created the letters. So step one in your creating your own campaign, if you're creating one from scratch, is to create the letters first. Then you want to go to the drip campaign and add those letters into the drip campaign and then assign it a tag. Does that make sense?
I think I see what you're saying. So it's, I was thinking of like that monthly newsletter seems to be a good personal touch, just to show your own value. And then you could put your own picture and letterhead and little things like that about yourself. So like you said, you're going to create them first and then go into the drip campaign and create the reoccurring. Is that right?
Yeah. So what you could do here is you could say, so if I wanted to make a newsletter campaign, what I could do, let me delete that one before I forget to do it and then I get in trouble later. All right. So I could go new campaign and I could go, hey, what type? I want it by, You could either do it like if you want it to go out on a specific date. So maybe each month I'm going to go in there and create the newsletter. So I'm going to say, hey, here's the, and then I'm going to call it a monthly newsletter. And then I'm going to assign it a new campaign tag, and I'm going to call it a newsletter. I'm going to hit save. Save and close. So then my first step, maybe I created my January newsletter. We're at the end of January. So maybe I created the February newsletter to go out on February 1st. I could go, hey, select letter. I would go browse. I'd go find that newsletter that I created for January or February. So I'd call it like February newsletter, and I created it. So let's pretend this says February newsletter. And then I want it to go out on February 1st. So I'm going to select February 1st, and then I'm going to hit save and close. And maybe the other ones haven't yet been created yet. Maybe I'm not as far as I'd like to be with the newsletters. So I have two options. Number one, and as I could say, hey, I want another letter. And this is going to be the February. Oh, I'm going to select browse. So maybe I just want to call this like maybe I have a letter in here called need to create or something like that, so that I know I need to do it. And I'm going to have it go out on March 1st and hit save and close. And I know I just need to come in here at some point and edit this newsletter or this letter with the correct one. Okay, so I might go into, in fact, here we're going to hit save and close. So I might go into drip campaign letters and hit new and go, hey, this is our February newsletter. And the subject would be Feb. Love. There we go. And then we're going to have this into the contact. So I could hit save and close on this one and not have anything in the actual body yet. So I could come in here and create a new, like February. I could call this one the March newsletter. Hope your month is lucky. I could also say here, I could call it like need to create, so that I know it hasn't been edited yet, and hit save and close. Okay, so now I've created like basically placeholders, and I know that I need to come in here and do this newsletter. And maybe I even want to hit one and call it create newsletter. We're gonna call it create edit newsletter. Subject, make sure to look over newsletter. And we're gonna go classic editor. I'm gonna say, hey, review monthly newsletter before it sends on the 1st. And I'm gonna hit okay. And this one's gonna go to agent. Okay, so I've got create edit newsletter. I'm gonna hit save and close. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back over to my drip campaign. So that was in drip campaign letters. I'm creating those, even though they're just placeholders. They don't actually have the newsletter in them yet. I'm going to say, hey, now let's go back to drip campaigns. Let's go to that monthly newsletter. I didn't hit the edit button, so hold on just a second. We're going to hit the little edit button. We're going to go here. We're going to hit edit this one. We're going to I'm just going to X that letter off. So I just hit the little X button to delete that one. I'm going to browse now for the February newsletter. And I'm going to hit OK. And that's going to go out on the 1st. And then I'm going to edit this one as well. We want this one to be the March. And hit OK. Save and close. All right, so I've got my newsletter set to go out, but now what I also want to do is I'm going to hit, hey, select letter. This is going to be browse. Here's that create edit newsletter. I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to send this one out on the 25th of the month. As we're going to make it high importance. I don't know how that's going to come through on my email, but we're just going to make it and hit save and close. And then I'm also going to hit select letter. Browse. I'm going to add that same one again. But this time I'm going to do it on February 20th. Hit save and close. So now on January 25th, I'm going to get an email that reminds me to go in there and edit or create that newsletter. The newsletter is going to go out on February. Then mid-February, I'm going to get another email that's going to come to me that's going to say, hey, remember to go in there and review that newsletter. And then the March newsletter is going to go to the contact on the 1st of March, right? So this is one really easy way to do this where you could set it up that way. If you're like Amy, so now I can hit save and close. I go apply the newsletter tab to somebody, and this newsletter will go out to everybody on the 1st of February. If you're like, Amy, that's too much pressure. I'm afraid that if I do that and pre-create newsletters that I'm going to forget to go in there and edit it, or I'm going to lose interest at month 4 and not actually do a newsletter. So I don't want to do that. So maybe we just have February and March in here. We can hit save and close. Okay. Now, if I go in there, let's just for kicks, PITT. Really thinking hard now. All right. So now if I go into me, okay, I can come down here, hit manage, add that newsletter. Keep in mind they're in here. Oh, I've got 2. That's really unfortunate. So we're just going to apply both. So I need to probably go in there and clean up my tags. I'll show you how to do that. But now I've added that newsletter to this person. And again, we could select our whole database and add it to everybody at once by just going to the contacts and leads. So that person's been added. If I was like, oh, I need to clean up those campaign tags because I got 2 labeled the same thing, I would just come down here to the bottom to campaign tags. I'll come back to where I was headed with that newsletter here in a second. Come down here to campaign tags. And then this would allow me to edit those tags. So if I wanted to, I've got like a couple new owners. Let's see. If we want to go find, we're going to call it newsletter. Hit search. All right, here's those 2 newsletters. One's created today, last modified. One was done on the 18th. So if I wanted to delete one, I could just delete that one. I'm sure it wasn't assigned to anybody. So that's how you could edit that one. If I clicked on this newsletter campaign tag, it's going to open up that tag, and then I can go over to contacts and it'll show me who it's assigned to. So if you don't want to delete something that's assigned to somebody, or what I could do as well is I could say, hey, let's edit this tag. And we're going to call this one newsletter 2025, maybe, right? Save and close. So now I've updated that one if I have if I ended up with duplicates, because it does let you create duplicates. So that's how to edit those tags. Okay, now if I go back to the drip campaigns, so let's say I had that one and I set up February, March, and now I'm getting ready to do April's newsletter. I have a couple of options here. Number 1, I can go into the monthly newsletter campaign. Okay, so I could go into this campaign, hit the little edit button, and I can then select the new letter that I created for April, and I can add it in here. Okay, so that's one way to do it. The other way to do it is if you didn't want to set it up at the very beginning, The other way is I could say, hey, let's create a new drip campaign. We're going to call this one by date. We're going to call it April newsletter. We're going to assign the newsletter 2025 tag to it. I'm going to select my April newsletter. Now, no, this isn't going to say April because I didn't go in there and create it yet. We're just going to do that one here. Hit OK. We're going to send this on March 20th because this was the reminder to create that. I'm going to hit save and close. So now everyone who's been assigned this tag, once I save and close this, it's going to send this email out on this date, even though it's not part of that other drip campaign. It's a new campaign all it's on its own. Everybody who has this tag is going to get this one as well. This one goes to the agent, so it's going to send it to me. Which may mean you may not want to do it this way now that I'm thinking about it, because if I assign this to 600 people in my database, I'm probably going to get 600 emails that say create and edit newsletter. So I probably don't want to send reminders through here. I probably just want to add it as a task, which I'll show you here in a minute. But the newsletter itself should go out through here. Does that make sense to everybody? It would be one thing like that listing alert is for like, hey, I've got a listing. So here's the emails that I want to get to remind me to do things for that specific client versus this. If I assign it to all 600 people, it's going to be 600 reminder emails sent to my inbox on the 20th of every month to do the newsletter. All right. But that's how those tags work. So if I add this campaign tag, any new campaign I create with that tag is going to go out as well. Okay, and notice this isn't a reoccurring campaign. It's not going to go out next year as well. It's just going to end this year. So you've got to keep it going for each year. Does that make sense to everybody? Yes, no, maybe so. I'm telling you, OneSuite is not the most user-friendly, but it does work well and it's free. Okay, so I'm all about free. So sometimes we learn to work with the quirks. We learn how to use the system because it's free until we have time to do something different or better. All right.
Amy, I have a question on that.
Yeah.
So it sounds like if you're going to do like a 12-month, March, April, May newsletter, you're going to want to create them as the month and then set them up for, is it one time or would it be one whole year email drip and then you're going to do 12?
Yeah, so you can do it one of two ways. So you can either do it, we want to use one tag. So like we might call it the newsletter tag or the newsletter 2025 tag, whatever that might be. And then you can either do it one of two ways. You can set up a drip campaign and like pre-schedule all of the newsletters for the whole year. You'd want to go into your drip campaign letters and create those, even if they're just placeholders like I did. So even if I'm like, hey, this is the March newsletter, it's not done yet, but I've got the letter in here so I can add it to that drip campaign. So I could do that for all 12 months and then go back in there a future time and just come in here to edit and now actually create my March newsletter. Okay, does that make sense?
That's super helpful. Yeah, and then you can kind of keep it current too. So you're kind of making yourself, yeah, that's awesome. Thank you.
The other thing that you can do is you can be like, okay, it's mid-February. I'm going to go in there and create my March newsletter. You could create it as a separate drip campaign and just call it March newsletter. And as long as you assign that same tag to it that you assign to everybody, that newsletter tag, when that date comes around, it'll send it. So it can either be as one campaign with all 12 months in it, or it can be 12 individual campaigns. As long as they have that newsletter tag, it'll automatically send those each time that date comes around.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So that's how to set up campaigns. The other thing that you can do in here, just so you know, we are going to go over on time because it's 10 o'clock now. So I apologize in advance. If you need to hop off, that's fine. We'll keep recording it. You can catch this in at a later date and time. But if I go into my contacts and leads, like if I go into myself, remember, sometimes we have to type our name and then we have to like wait patiently on the search, or it's not going to search at all. All right, there we go. We want to go contact. So I'm going to go into myself as the contact because there's several other options we have besides this. This is kind of limited to emails, right? So this is just emails. So in that last email example where I set it up where it was going to send out the newsletter and then mid-month send me a reminder. And I said, we probably don't want to do that because I'm just now realizing that it's going to send it 600 times to me on the 20th of the month to go in there and edit that newsletter. I probably want to do it as a task, okay, versus that. So so the way to do that would be, hey, we want to go into, I think it's in the calendar. Nope. Let's see here. All right, let's go up to notifications. We're going to go, hey, tasks, view all events. So you can add it as an event to your calendar, so it shows up on your calendar, or we can say, I don't think it'll let us assign one outside of this. So let's go back into my contact. I was hoping it'd let me set up a task separate, but we can go into, so if you've set yourself up as a contact, then we can use ourself for notifications and such. So we can come in here and say, hey, we want a new task. This is going to be review monthly newsletter. And it's a to-do, and we want it on the 20, I'm going to say we're going to start it on February 20th. It's going to be reoccurring every 30 days. I'm going to get a reminder to go in there and review the newsletter. It's assigned to me. And our body might be, hey, just review or create monthly newsletter. Okay, and then we just want to hit save and close. So now every month on the 20th or approximately the 20th of the month, it's going to be every 30 days. So it's kind of going to wiggle around a little bit, depending on how many days are in a month. But approximately on the 20th, I'll get a reoccurring reminder on my task list to go in there and review that newsletter. So this would be the better way to do it, is to set it up under your own contact information to review that newsletter. Okay, and then this could be like, so we did it like the happy birthday touch plan example. Remember, I set it up and said, hey, we could set it up so it emails us to remind us to send somebody a birthday card or whatever. We could set it up in our to-do list as well. So like here I set up in this contact, hey, on their birthday, send them a happy birthday text message, and that's going to repeat every 365 days. Okay. And then happy birthday social media post on the day before the birthday. And I set that up to repeat every year, send a happy birthday card 7 days before their birthday. So I like this one because I can set it up as repetitive based on their birthday instead of on the drip campaign. It's not, you can't set it up as repeating. It's under tasks that you set up as repeating. So I could set this up anytime I input a new contact into my database. I can go in there and say, hey, we need to set up the happy birthday touch campaign under tasks for repeating. So the email for their happy birthday will go out on their birthday or whenever we decide to do that one. But everything else will go out as a task rather than an email, if that makes sense. Okay. So use tasks that way to automate so you don't forget. Okay, phone call follow-ups, whatever that might be. And then you'll get those reminders. They'll show up here in your little task notifications. The other thing that you can do here is under the person, it'll show you which campaigns they're assigned to by tag and then what drip campaigns. And remember, it doesn't show them all here, so you may have to hit view all to see what they're actually assigned to. And then also remember that anything that I assign today probably isn't going to show up on this list until tomorrow. Okay, so it takes that cycle. It has to cross over the 5:30 threshold in the morning, which is when the emails and notifications go out for it to show up right here. Okay, so don't panic if it doesn't show up here when you assign the tag. Okay, the other things that you can do here, which are fabulous, are it's got market reports on here, so I'm going to hit view all. Oh, that's not where I want it to be. All right, hold on just a second. We're going to go into edit contact because there's a few other touches that you can do, which will be handy, which allow you to change and modify things. So just a second here. Oh, maybe it was down there. All right, let's go cancel. Sorry, it's gonna take me a second. Yes. Sorry. All right. Down here, you've got campaign tags, you've got website activities, you've got drip campaigns, you've got tasks. So I think it's under the market reports. I'm going to hit view all. Okay, so this person is set up for a new listing alert. So these listing alerts, this is where you go to see all. These listing alerts is if you have somebody actively searching for a property, you can set them up for a listing alert. Under these listing alerts, so we would just hit create. And then report type, you've got property detail report or listing alert. So we're going to say, hey, we want a listing alert. We're going to name this. Remember, they're probably going to see this name. So your dream Vacaville home. Here's where you edit the criteria for that. We just hit the button here and it's basically going to set up like a search. So this would be like if you were setting them up in Berries for a search, or if you had previously used Real Scout, whatever, this is that. So it's going to search that. Top up here, this common, you can select either Berries or MetroList or common. Select common because it combines them into one. Okay. You can do a radius search around a specific address, or you can do just a regular search. So I'm going to say, hey, I want active and coming soon. I don't want pending properties. And then here's where you could select, hey, property type. So maybe I just want single family homes. I don't want condos. Maybe I don't want properties built this year. So I'm going to go, hey, we don't want 2024. We don't want new constructions showing up on there because I'm going to set that up separately under new homes. Maybe they want 4-bedroom homes. And maybe they need 3 full bathrooms. Oops. If you put 4 to 4, then it's not going to search 5-bedroom or 6-bedroom homes. If you leave that blank, it'll search anything with more than 4 bedrooms. Same thing with total baths. This is going to search anything with 3 or more total bathrooms. This, I put the date in the to line, which means it's only going to search homes that were built up until 2024. So anything before 2024. Here's where I can plug in the cities. So I can go, hey, I want these in Vacaville. It got angry at me, so I'm just waiting patiently. My computer thinks it's overworked and underpaid. All right, there we go, VACA. There we go. And you can select multiple cities. So once you select one, if I was like, oh, I also want Dixon, then you can select that as well, right? So you can put multiple cities in there just like you can on Berries. Once you have the information in there, if you add a specific square footage or lot size or acreage, then we hit OK. You can also do a map search. Okay, and then this, if we hit save and send, it's going to send this out right now. Here. So there's the criteria. Sorry. Here's your initial intro. So you want to put something in here. This is what they're going to get the first time these listings go out for them. Like, hey, I've created you your very own property search. This is looking for 4-bedroom, any homes in Vacaville and Dixon that are 4 or more bedrooms with at least 3 bathrooms. I didn't put a price cap on here because I'm not sure what the upper limits of your prices were, right? Or whatever that might be. So you may want to create something specific to them. Please let me know how you'd like me to tweak this search further. So put info here for clients to respond to. Okay, probably criteria, and then hit save and close. Okay, that's going to go out with the first one. This is how fast do you want it to go out? Do we want it to go out anytime a property comes up and hits the market? That would be immediately. Daily is once a day, every 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, 14 days, or 28 days. How serious of a buyer are they? Okay, that's how we want to set this. So immediately, again, is going to go out. If that's somebody who's pre-approved or looking for properties, we want it immediately. Somebody who's not yet pre-approved, but they're looking for properties, we may want it daily. And then somebody who, they're kind of moving towards ready to buy, but they're not quite ready, we may want it to go out slower. It's up to you. I usually do daily or immediately. Okay, Somebody who's like, oh yeah, we were thinking about purchasing this summer and it's January, I'm probably going to be like, hey, just go out once a week. Okay. I just want to keep them up to date. I'm hoping something will pop up that they're interested in, but I don't want to inundate them. Do they want a text notification? I would absolutely say yes. Okay, I think most people probably respond better to text than they do emails. So I want those to come via text to their phone because I want them looking on my website or on my information that I'm sending them, not going to one of the other sources where they could get that information and then accidentally click on something that would lead them to another agent. Okay, copy agent on report. Do you want a copy of this every time they get notified that there's a listing? Do I want them to be notified of open houses? Probably not. Maximum number of listings, and then when does it expire? You don't have to fill that in, just red stuff has to be filled in. So you don't have to give it an expiration date. Once you're done, you're gonna hit, hey, let's save and send that. Okay, so now it's getting ready to send that report to me, and then once I hit refresh, it shows up here under the listing alerts. Okay, the other option is a property detail report, and we have market reports. Okay, these are different. The market reports are general. So that would be like everything for Vacaville or based on a zip code. That would be a market report. And if we want to see what this looks like, I should have it. Maybe. Oh, let's see here. Oh, it's because it's not in that email. Hold on. It's in this email. That's why. All right. We want to view all 6. All right. So we have market report from Amy Petard. So here's what that email looks like. Your personalized report is ready for you to view. Click to view online. Welcome to the market report. As they scroll down, it's going to give them detailed information about that market. Oh, you probably can't see this. Okay, hold on just a second. I've got to do a new share. Hold on. Share. We're just going to share desktop 1. There we go. All right. So here's that email and what that looks like. It says market report. Again, remember in our settings, we can change these images. Okay, we can't change it, but we can change these in the OneSuite settings. It's got, hey, this was set up for just Vacaville. So here's the December 2024 market update, real estate snapshot, sales price, median list price, average price, right? So it gives you some good details, market summary, new properties, average sales price, average sales to list price, right? So it's got some really good details in there. So that's the market report. So again, if we go back over here to OneSuite, that is these down here on the bottom, and you can create one just by hitting create. Okay, and then that allows you to walk through the process to create that report. So if I go in here and hit this edit button for the Vacaville, you name the report, you add the contacts to it, you choose the area. So I just chose all of Vacaville for this one. You can display the title. Okay, I just labeled this one test run so I could find it again. Do you want a copy of it? That would be copy agent. Report enabled is yes, and unsubscribe by contact would be no. And then if you preview it, you can see what that looks like. Okay. So that's that report I just showed you. So that's a good one as well. Once you send it out once, it will go out every single month after that once it's assigned with the new market update. So next month it'll go out with a January summary, and then after that it'll be the February summary that'll go out in March. So it will continue to keep them updated month after month after month on that market update. Okay. The other option that you have here is you have this information here, which is the, it's called the property detail report. So like I have this neighborhood update for North Vacaville. If I edit that one, again, to do it, to create a new one, you would just hit the create button. Here we can name it. We go email type. This has the property detailed report. I don't know that it'll let us change it today, but here's the criteria. I'll show you that here in a second. The initial intro, how often do you want this to go out? Do I want a copy of it? Maximum number of listings. Hide automated market value, yes or no. Does it expire? And unsubscribe by contact. It'll show you if they're unsubscribed. So if I wanted to change the criteria, I just hit edit. And this one I did by a map search. And then I highlighted their specific areas. So this one's way more local than the market report, which is the entire area or zip code. This one you can do by neighborhood as long as it's got enough history there. And then you select the fields, like this one's got all active properties. They'll get a copy of that. It's got all sold and closed for the past 60 days. It's got all contingent or expired or canceled properties for the past 60 days, pending property for the past 60 days. I chose residential properties under property type if you wanted to narrow it down to any features, but this would just give somebody a solid idea of what is going on in their neighborhood once a month. I like this one. This is what I used to use Real Scout for, but now we can do it on here since we don't have access to Real Scout. If we wanted to add an area, here, you just click on this map. Give me just a second. Oh, it's not because it already sent out. So let me show you how to do this on a new one. Hold on. Yes. All right. So we just hit create property detail report. You would name it. We're going to hit edit here on the criteria. We go map search. Notice here you don't have the common, so you can either select berries or metro list. So you have to pick one or the other. Here's where you can select this map. You can center the map on an address. So if we wanted it centered on something specific. Let's do and then hit find. So then it's going to bring that map in on that. To select an area, there's in the upper right-hand corner, you've got a square selection tool, which is going to select, squares and rectangles. You've got a circle selection tool where you can go like this. Now keep in mind too, you can save these areas. So I'll show you that here in a second. We can hit this polygon one, which allows you to click on specific areas. Okay, so you can follow the street. So that's the one I normally use to make it so that I can select specific neighborhoods. Okay, and then you have to come back to the beginning. There we go. So you could save those areas and we might call it like Browns Valley or North Vacaville or Orchard Avenue. So you can save different areas, which makes them easy to pull up in the future. Okay. So you've got some options there. And then here's those statuses where you can change and set the search. And then if you want to know, we would just hit search to get the potential listings there. Once you're done, you're going to hit OK. Okay. And then how often do you want this to go out? Generally speaking, I'd say, hey, once every like 30 days. So they're going to get this one once every 30 days as well. I want to stagger these. So like I might go in there and set up my market reports to go out like on the 1st of every month versus this one I want to go out in the middle of the month so that they're staggered, right? So that we have some staggering there. So they're getting information from us on a regular deal. Once you've got that set up, we can hit save and send, which will send it to somebody after you've got all the options there. So there's some options. So you have the drip campaigns, which will send out emails. You have the tasks, which will remind you to do things on behalf of that client. Okay, or you can use your own profile to set up tasks or reminders for yourself. And then inside of each client, you have the option to send out listing alerts, property detailed reports, which are those hyper local, neighborhood specific, and then market reports, which are broader. Okay, so you've got several options there. If you want to see what that neighborhood looks like, that was the market update. Let's see if I can find. So here's that neighborhood update. This is what it looks like. And again, under your options, we talked about this last week. So you can watch back and watch last week's training to see how to edit these images, because this does not say Vacaville real estate to me. This is like Dallas real estate. I don't even know. So I would change these images to be more local. Here's the monthly information for your neighborhood. It's going to give just that specific information that I had blocked for that neighborhood. On market, sold, all that data there, the pricing trends. You could really go with either one or the other, either market data or the neighborhood data. You may want to set everybody up on the market data so they're getting like whatever city they live in first. And then you might want to go in there and work on tweaking everybody's to make it hyper local in the future, and then swap them over to this over the other one. This one's got all the properties in that area, so they can actually see the details. They can click to see photos, more information. They can get a PDF of it. So this one's got so many great options. It allows them to really keep their fingers on the pulse of what's going on in their neighborhood. I really like both of them. I think it gives some great aspects of both what's going on in the market and then what's going on in the general area as well. If I was choosing one or the other, I would go with this one over the other one, only because it's more hyper local. So there's some ways that you have to interact with your clients through OneSuite. So it's really got some great things in there. If we're using the tasks appropriately and we're trying to do those 36 or 30 plus touches, we can set up the newsletter from here. We can set up the property alerts through here, the market updates through here. We can use those tasks to remind us when to call our clients every 90 days, right? And we can use all those features so that we can make sure we can tag them appropriately, so that we can sort through those tags. If there's somebody who's in like your top 50 or your gold clients or your platinum or whatever, you can label them that way so that you know who you need to do pop buys for. So it's a really good system. It does allow you to do lots of things. If I was going off like my ideal system, I would say, hey, I'd be able to set up that touch campaign with a variety of touches, tasks to remind me to call them. I'd be able to set up a task called like 36 touch program or 30 plus touch program or 8x8 or 12x1, and put all the touches in there, from text messages to phone calls to emails, so that I just had to assign one thing to each person and it would remind me. But this system isn't quite that robust. That's going to cost you a little bit. So again, this is great as a free program. It just takes a little bit more management on your part, which isn't a big deal. So use it, get familiar with it. If you guys have any questions about it, feel free to throw them my way, reach out to me. Fabulous. So anyways, there you go. Erin, any questions before we wrap up today? You're welcome. All right, fabulous. Thank you. We will be back next week. I'm not sure exactly what we're covering next week. I know that it's the end of the month. So I know that at the end of next week, we are covering some other tools that we have available to us to help make those touches more streamlined and automated. And I'm not sure exactly what we're covering on Monday. So anyways, stay tuned for that. We'll see you next week.